All right, let's dive into this comprehensive explainer on the PlayStation 5 Slim and see exactly how its hardware features completely redefine your day-to-day gaming experience. If you've been wondering whether it's time to upgrade or honestly just want to know what makes this specific revision tick, you are in exactly the right place. Today's agenda covers the new compact design, the upgraded hardware and 1 TB SSD, the DualSense controller experience, backwards compatibility with your games, and finally, accessibility and smart features. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. The new compact design, fitting next-gen into your living room.
So Sony managed to pack all that massive next-gen power into a way smaller physical space with the Slim model, which dropped in late 2023. Let's be real, they faced a pretty massive challenge with the original PlayStation 5. It literally towered over its rivals and, struggled to fit into standard entertainment centers. The Slim maintains that iconic look with the warped matte white plates and glossy black center, but it directly solves the pain point of bulky hardware by taking up far less room.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the flexibility in your purchase. You get a choice between the disc edition, which includes an Ultra HD Blu-ray drive for physical media, and the digital edition. But unlike the launch era, the new digital edition actually allows you to snap on a detachable disc drive later if you change your mind. So actually scratch that whole buyer's remorse thing. If you decide down the road you want to start collecting used discs or watching 4K movies, you are not locked out.
Moving on to Section 2. Hardware and 1 TB SSD, the need for lightning speed. Under the hood, this builds the perfect foundation for incredible performance without compromising the raw power of the original release. The CPU, GPU, and memory remain totally identical, so you still get those gorgeous ray-traced graphics and up to 120 frames per second. But the absolutely crucial internal change is the storage. The Slim bumps up the capacity to give you roughly 1 TB of usable space right out of the box. The original model came with a highly specific 825 GB, which actually translated to just around 667 gigs of usable space once the operating system took its cut. With massive modern games filling up hard drives faster than ever, that bump to a full terabyte gives you a lot of breathing room. But honestly, even more impressive than the size is the sheer speed of this thing. This custom solid-state drive boasts a raw read bandwidth of 5.5 gigabytes per second. Literally, the entire console architecture was built around this drive, with the goal of completely eliminating the bottlenecks that defined all previous gaming generations. To put that staggering speed into a real-world perspective, on the old PS4 hard drive, it took about 20 agonizing seconds to load a single gigabyte of data. The PS5's custom SSD, it loads 2 gigabytes in just 0.27 seconds. No way, right? You're going from staring at slow, old-gen loading bars to swinging through a bustling city in Spider-Man in the absolute blink of an eye. You can boot the console from a complete shutdown and be in-game in a matter of seconds.
All right, Section 3. The DualSense controller experience, touching the game.
Let's zoom right into your hands to discuss how the DualSense controller acts as your physical connection to these digital worlds. While the SSD changes how fast you play, the DualSense completely changes how you actually feel the game. Instead of just a basic, dull rumble from a spinning motor, the DualSense uses haptic feedback. This gives you incredibly precise physical sensations that travel from palm to palm. It means you can literally feel the texture of raindrops, the scrape of ice skates on a frozen pond, or the subtle variations in terrain as you run across it. It is super nuanced. But the real magic, that has to be the adaptive triggers. The L2 and R2 buttons actually fight back against your fingers using these tiny internal gears. They dynamically simulate the tension of drawing heavy bowstring, the jam of a weapon, or the resistance of hitting the brakes in a super fast car. When you combine that with the haptics, it creates this layer of immersion that is, for sure, truly next generation.
Beyond all that immersion, the controller is packed with practical tools. It features a built-in microphone that you can use to chat without a headset. Oh, and a quick pro tip here. You can hold down the controller's mute button for a few seconds to instantly mute all console audio, including your TV. It also features a built-in speaker, a headset jack, touchpad input, motion sensors, and a USB-C rechargeable battery, which completely saves you from ever hunting for AA batteries again.
Section 4. Backwards compatibility and games, bridging nostalgia and next-gen. For many of you upgrading from older consoles, a major deciding factor is the safety of your existing game library. Nobody wants to leave years of purchases behind. So let's answer a question you're probably asking. What happens to your old games? Are they protected?
Or do you have to start from scratch?
Well, the fantastic news is that the PS5 Slim is a perfect bridge, acting as a backward-compatible home for almost all of your PS4 titles. Based on testing, more than 95% of the thousands of PS4 titles are completely playable right here.
Now, true, you can't insert original PS1, PS2, or PS3 discs, but popping your physical PS4 games into the disc edition will play them without a hitch. Even better, many of them actually get a performance boost, running with steadier frame rates and loading significantly faster thanks to that SSD. Plus, if you store your PS4 games on an external USB drive, you can just plug that drive directly into the PS5 and start playing immediately, saving that precious internal storage for your dedicated PS5 titles.
Finally, Section 5, Accessibility and Smart Features, Gaming for Everyone. Zooming out to the wider console ecosystem, its smart features are intentionally designed to lower barriers for all players, because gaming is at its absolute best when it's accessible to everyone. The system is packed with inclusive options like a screen reader for visually impaired users, which is fascinating because it dictates the on-screen text. You also have customizable UI zooming, in-game subtitles, mono audio for anyone with hearing impairments on one side, and complete system-wide button remapping. That remapping is amazing if you have diverse physical needs, or honestly, even if you just want to fix the bizarre, outdated control schemes on some classic retro games. Depending on your region, you can even navigate the console completely hands-free. By simply saying, "Hey PlayStation" to the built-in voice assistant, you can launch games or control media playback without even touching the DualSense. And to ensure your console is always ready when you are, the brilliant rest mode is an absolute game changer for daily use. Indicated by this glowing orange light, it quietly charges your controllers and downloads massive live service updates in the background while sipping minimal power. There is literally nothing worse than sitting down to play and getting hit with a 30-gigabyte update, right? Rest mode completely solves that problem. You can even use the PlayStation mobile app to trigger downloads while you're at work, so your game is perfectly ready the second you get home.
By seamlessly integrating blinding speed with tactile immersion and a highly inclusive design, the Slim proves its value as a true next-generation powerhouse. It respects your past library while completely changing what games actually feel like in your hands. But as hardware gets smaller and these game worlds get even larger, the real question is, how will developers push these boundaries next? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.